Members, in furtherance of the powers conferred on me by the Constitution 1992, the Parliament Act 1965, Act 300, the Standing Orders of Parliament, and the Code of Conduct for Members of Parliament of Ghana. I make this statement with a very heavy heart and righteous anger. I am so shocked and very scandalized at what I saw and heard through various media outlets. It's what happened at the sittings of the Appointments Committee yesterday, the 30th of January 2025, and this morning. Today, I read the views and reports of our brothers and sisters of the media as to what took place at the first sittings of the committee. The outrage of the public and the people who represent and serve is apt and understandable. What should have been a solemn exercise in parliamentary scrutiny degenerated into an appalling display of chaos and lawlessness, bringing this House into disrepute before the entire world. What transpired was not just a gross affront to the dignity of Parliament, but also a blatant contempt of the House. This further aggravates the already existing low level of trust of Parliament and parliamentarians. I have the unfortunate burden of responding to the disgraceful and deeply regrettable events that unfolded during the Appointments Committee. Such behavior is utterly unacceptable and a direct affront to the dignity of this House. The actions of those involved have sullied the image of Parliament and also betrayed the trust of the Ghanaian people, whose expectations of leadership, decorum, and responsible conduct have been callously disregarded. The Parliament of Ghana is expected to stand as the foremost institution of democracy, entrusted with the solemn duty of upholding the principles of good governance, integrity, and selfless public service. Yet, the events that transpired during the Appointments Committee hearing yesterday have gravely undermined these ideals. These incidents represent a new law in parliamentary conduct and is particularly egregious given its timing and recurrence. It is unconscionable that members who are supposed to be leaders elected to serve as representatives of the people would engage in violent confrontations in a setting that demands the highest levels of maturity, emotional intelligence, and statesmanship. in the face of our fathers, our revered traditional leaders and spiritual leaders, our kings, our queens, our queen mothers, the apostles, and our own children, members could not even exercise a scintilla of emotional intelligence. Aged people who are sat from morning just to assist and support the committee perform its duty were treated to these ugly scenes. It is deeply troubling that this is the third time in as many years that such an incident has occurred within the presence of Parliament. Each time, public outrage has been met with empty apologies and no real change in conduct. This House must acknowledge that it is rapidly eroding public confidence in Ghana's democracy, and that such conduct, if not decisively addressed, will have grave consequences for the credibility of Parliament and the future of democracy in our dear nation. Even more alarming is the involvement of some senior members of the House and members in leadership, individuals who ought to embody the principles of leadership and discipline. Their participation in this deplorable spectacle raises serious questions about their fitness to lead and their commitment to upholding the values of Parliament. If members cannot engage in robust debate without resorting to physical aggression, then they are unfit to discharge the mandate bestowed upon them by the people of Ghana. Parliamentary privilege does not and will never extend to lawlessness. The rules of Parliament exist to guide conduct, and members are duty-bound to uphold them. Ghanaian citizens deserve a Parliament that exemplifies discipline, intelligence, and the pursuit of national progress, not one that degenerates into a battleground at the slightest disagreement. The international community is watching us. Our Speaker has received numerous calls from concerned citizens, both in Ghana and outside Ghana, from civil society organizations, from academia, and parliamentary counterparts across the world, all lamenting the disgraceful conduct of members of this House. Today, I welcome my colleague from the Parliament of Morocco. A number of them are here leading delegations to a prosperity dialogue, and they all saw what happened. The Ghana that they are proud of. This unfortunate development is a direct contradiction of the repeated admonitions I have issued to members. Just yesterday, we had an occasion here. Immediately after that, the worst happened. I have consistently reminded this House that respect is earned, not demanded. The manner in which members conduct themselves determines the extent to which they command the respect of the Ghanaian people. Yet, despite these admonitions, some members continue to act in a way that dishonors this House and its traditions. This must stop. Parliament cannot continue to excuse misconduct under the guise of political disagreement. Consequently, the following emergency measures are to be taken with dispatch. 1, the circumstances of the absence of a Privileges and Immunity Committee. In that circumstance, a 7-member special committee shall be constituted under Orders 5 and 20, Rule 4, to conduct a full-scale investigation into the events of yesterday and this morning. The committee shall identify all members involved in the disorder and submit its report with findings and recommendations within 10 days from today. Any member found culpable shall face the appropriate disciplinary actions as prescribed by the Constitution 1992, the Parliament Act of 1965, and the Standing Orders of Parliament. This does not absolve the chairman of the Appointments Committee from performing his duty under Order 268, Rule 3, which says, and I quote, "The chairperson of a committee shall maintain order at a meeting of the committee and decide on each question of order. And A, where a member persists in disorderly conduct, the chairperson may refer the conduct of the member to the House for determination." And so I expect the chairman of the committee to also submit a report to this House. The following members shall constitute the membership of the special committee. I have not consulted any member, and this is a duty no member can fail or decline to perform. The committee is to be chaired by Honorable Emmanuel Bejra. Other members, Honorable Kwame Anyimedu Antwi, Honorable Gisela Akushika Tete Agbotui, Mrs. Honorable Abina Osei Asare, Mrs. Honorable Zaneto Ajiman Rollins, Doctor. Honorable Vincent Opong Asamoah and Honorable Bede Anwatazuma Zeden. That is a 7-member committee. you are to present your report with recommendations within 10 days from today. 2, in pursuant of Section 10 of the Parliamentary Service Act 1993, Act 460, I direct the Clerk to Parliament to cause to be undertaken a full assessment of all damage caused within the committee room and parliamentary presence as a result of the misconduct of the members. Not a single peso of public funds shall be used to repair or replace any damaged property. Instead, members found responsible shall be surcharged for the full cost of repairs and replacement, with deductions from their emoluments, including the salaries of members, if necessary. 3, in pursuance of the provisions of the Constitution 1992 and the standing orders of Parliament, I further direct the Clerk to Parliament to formally lodge a complaint with the Ghana Police Service to conduct a full criminal investigation into the matter for appropriate action. 4, I call for an immediate meeting of the Committee of Selection today, to reconstitute the Appointments Committee as a matter of urgency, and to set up the Standing Orders Committee to reconsider a revision of the rules for the assessment of nominees for the consideration and approval by the House. If there is any defect with our rules, we'll rectify them. The scene that we have all witnessed is unpalatable. 5, I draw the attention of members to the sanctions provided for in the Parliament Act and the Standing Orders of Parliament in the event of a breach of privilege or contempt of Parliament under Orders 34(2) and 36. Members may also see Article 123 of the Constitution 1992. Let there be no doubt, Parliament's credibility has been seriously undermined, and urgent punitive action has to be taken, since this was done contemptuous parliamenti in facio parlamenti. Consequently, Dr. Annoh, what I said is this: let there be no doubt, Parliament's credibility has been seriously undermined, and urgent punitive action has to be taken, since this was done contemptuous parliamenti in facio parlamenti. Consequently, the following members are suspended from the sittings of Parliament for 2 weeks from today. They are 1 and 2, the 2 chief whips, in the persons of Mr. Roxon Nelson Eche, Kwame Dafeamekpor, and Mr. Frank Annoh-Dompreh. 3, Mr. Alasan Suleimana Tampuli. And 4, Mr. Jerry Ahmed Shaib. Leaders from the various caucuses should take the consequential actions to continue with their leadership. But the Marshal is hereby directed to ensure the full enforcement of this suspension in accordance with the rules of the House. As Speaker, I reaffirm my commitment to restoring the dignity of this House. The people of Ghana deserve a parliament that exemplifies leadership, integrity, and discipline. Members must reflect deeply on their conduct and be reminded that they hold their seats in trust for the people. The events of 30th January 2025 and this morning must not be repeated. If not, the full rigors of the law will be applied. This is just the beginning. And members must know that you can be expelled as a member of Parliament by Parliament. In conclusion, I am deeply disappointed by the conduct of members involved in this shameful episode. Their actions have brought disrepute to Parliament and undermined the democratic values we have sworn to uphold. I wish to extend my sincere apologies to the Ghanaian people for this national embarrassment, and assure them that this House will not allow such an incident to recur. Parliament must and will do better. I call on all members to reflect on their actions, uphold the dignity of this institution, and recommit themselves to the principles of democracy and responsible leadership. With this, I thank all of you for your attention. Honorable members, other measures will be taken after the Committee of Selection has held its meeting. And as I indicated, the meeting of the Committee of Selection is today. It's being chaired by my good self. And I'm expecting members in my conference room to hold the meeting immediately I decline from this seat. May we move to item 6, business statement for the 4th week. Chairman, Business Committee.
Right Honorable Speaker, the committee met on Thursday, 30th of January 2025, to arrange the business of the House ending Friday, 7th of February. That's the fourth week. The Speaker, I wish to submit the report of the committee, and I request that Hansard Department should capture the report as presented and read. So I'll just focus on the highlights. The Speaker may read available communications to the House during the week. Statements may be made by ministers and honorable members pursuant to the appropriate standing orders. The Speaker, indeed, the committee at the meeting the Business Committee actually had planned to call for an urgent meeting of the Committee of Selection to deal with the issues of the composition of the standing and select committees. Papers and reports may be presented and considered by the House. Motions and resolutions moved and passed. Joint caucus meetings may take place. So, Speaker, in conclusion, in accordance with Order 216(2) and subject to Order 67 of the Standing Orders, the committee submits to the House the order in which business of the House shall be taken during the week. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
At the University of Ghana. It was above a Kwafu Hall, the Kwafu Hall JCR, and my mates know that I did employ some of them as campus manager. This was a campus job. At the University of Ghana. It was
this job you were doing on campus was a part-time job, correct?
yes, I mean, I've always loved to work. Yes, I believe in the dignity of work. And let me also add that during vacations, I took on vacation jobs. My mates will tell you that I was part of the work abroad squad on summer holidays, typically in the United States during summer holidays. So I've always believed in the dignity of work.
Okay, work abroad squad. So share with us the periods that you went to America. Did you take that J1 visa that allowed you to work as a student during that short period? Was that the visa you were on?
I want to believe so because I was allowed to work and I had no issues.
We would want to give you the benefit of sharing that visa with us. We know you don't have it here.
Yes, I mean, I'm happy to share.
But since you consider you were doing work abroad,
yes,
you'll be sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
Okay, can you share with us the various works you did abroad, the work abroad? What specifically you did?
Yeah, quite a number of jobs. One in a hotel called Doyle. I also worked in the dollar shop, and then I also worked in Sears. Depends on the year and what openings are available.
Now, Nkoko, you say you taught at Nkoko for your national service. National service cannot be described as gainful employment. It's not employment, it's national service.
I never said national service. So Nkoko was the 2-year break between secondary school and university. I thought that I made good use of the time. So I joined an uncle who was running a computer firm in Coleman International School. I'm very proud of that job I took as it must have been, what, 19 or 18. So
Which year did you take up?
This must be between 1999. I left Presec in 99. So between 1999 and 2001.
So you mean this was before university?
Absolutely. I've always worked. That's why when I hear people say I've never worked before, I laugh.
Sir Blakwa, please pay attention.
No, it's
about
important.
what somebody has said.
No, it's
that is
important.
not why we, please.
I believe that that's what is informing some of these questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Because that's why I have in my CV, you said that
Mr.
I've
Chairman,
never worked.
the nominee must learn to reciprocate respect.
Honorable nominee.
I didn't know this.
You should
Honorable
learn to
nominee.
reciprocate
But honorable
respect.
minority leader.
Respect.
If the nominee in his answer indicated clearly that the gap between SS and university, so clearly that will be before going to university. So the question whether it is before going to university for me is unwarranted.
Chairman, absolute respect to you. Can you withdraw the word unwarranted? Please. Chairman.
Then let me substitute it to say that it's not needed, because the answer has been provided that I did that work between my SS and the university. So it cannot be that he completes university before doing that particular work. It is stated in the answer.
Honorable nominee, you referred to page 7 of your CV. Is that where the Nkoko school is stated?
When I referred to page 7, I was talking about Carrera Computers at the University of Ghana. That's what I said.
Yes, but this one that you said you worked between 1999 and 2000, you said the 2 years prior to going to university, you did some work, gainful employment. Do you have it on your CV?
No, I didn't think that I should add that.
So I wasn't wrong when I said it was on your CV, and you said
No. You said I've never worked in the private sector. Carrera Computers is not owned by the government.
Yes, in your
With all due respect.
In your answer, you brought in this Nkoko school.
Yeah, and work abroad,
Wait.
which is all not here.
Yes. So you would agree with me that I am dealing with what is before me, and I can't speculate.
Except that you are not dealing with what is before you properly. You didn't see Carrera Computers and concluded that I had no private sector work experience, which was unfair to me.
Honorable nominee, you said that the work you did, which you did not document in your CV, was gainful employment. My question was anchored on gainful employment. You are saying that you did some work 2 years before going to university, gainful employment. Let us stay there for a while. Let's stay there for a while. This gainful employment, were you being paid salary month on month?
For the record, there have been many gainful employments that are listed here, and so it's important to set the record straight. Yes, I was being paid monthly.
Were you contributing taxes?
My employer was.
Was there SNIT contribution?
I believe so.
Given the opportunity, would you be able to furnish us with those details of taxes that were deducted at source and your SNIT contribution for that period?
Very happy to do that.
Would you take the leave of chairman to amend your CV to include the employment details you just spoke about?
That is if the nominee he decides that he wants to do that. If there is a need, but if there is no need, as a result of which he didn't put it on the CV, so be it. Let me also place on record that for the purposes of taxes, we have the tax clearance of the nominee before us.
Honorable nominee, Savvy, the company that you said you registered and you were the sole shareholder, you said you did some work. You had some contracts, and when those contracts terminated, you decided to fold it up. It became defunct, you said. Now, for the period that the company worked, you executed some jobs. Did you pay taxes to the state?
Yes, I did.
Did you have employees apart from you?
Yes, 3.
Did you pay their SNIT contributions?
Yes, I did.
Did you pay their taxes?
Absolutely.
Given the opportunity, can you furnish this committee with all those details?
I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. Now, between 2013 and now, have you done any work apart from your politics? Have you done any work, and I'll break it down as if consultancy work that has earned you an income, or engage in some other business that you've earned some income apart from the politics?
Full-time politician.
So you have no other source of income apart from your earnings as a member of parliament?
Well, apart from little savings, investments, and the support of my dearest lawyer wife, as I call her.
Thank you very much. I recognize Honorable Mama Yarga, a leader, majority leader, for follow-up question.
Mr. Nominee, is there a job such as a politician?
Well, it's public service, and we receive little compensation for it. So it's more of public service.
So you've been a public servant, serving in specific publicly established offices.
Yes, please.
Can you name some of those offices?
The Deputy Minister for Information, office I occupied. Deputy Minister for Education, office I occupied. Member of Parliament for 4 terms. So these are some of the public offices I have occupied over the period.
Established under the Constitution?
Rightly so, majority leader.
So there's no such thing as a politician, public working as a politician?
We work as public servants. I mean, we use it loosely that we are all politicians, but I follow your guidance, majority leader.
You know, anyway, fair enough. So, Honorable nominee, on your CV, where did you stay? Where did you write you were born?
Born in Accra.
So you'll be surprised for anybody to suggest that you were born in Dafeamekpor.
No,
United
that's
States.
yeah. I'll be surprised. That's my hometown, but I was born in Accra, in Kolebu.
Now, Chairman, let me, with your leave, nominee, please, respectfully, this has nothing to do with you. I just want to bring a matter to the attention of the chair of the committee and to all of us. Mr. Chair, the rules of the House provides in order 2171. And I read, the appointment committee comprises the first deputy speaker as chairperson, minority leader as ranking member, the deputy majority leader as vice chairperson, and the following other members. A, deputy minority leader. B, majority chief whip. C, minority chief whip. Order. Mr. Chair, let me, we are standing orders, there are two prints. So the one you are holding with this color, that's fine. Fortunately, I also have the same thing. The appointment committee comprises the first deputy speaker as chairperson, the minority leader as ranking member. It's the same, don't mind them. It's the same, don't mind them. If you are not firm, they will confuse you. I've been in this game for long. You can't confuse me on rules. The deputy majority leader as vice chairperson, the deputy minority leader as deputy ranking member, and the following other members. Majority chief whip. B, minority chief whip. And 5 other members selected based on the numerical strength of the parties in parliament. Two, the chairperson and the ranking member and 2 other members of the relevant subject standing or select committee shall join the members of the appointment committee to consider persons nominated by the president for appointment. Those follows, and I will read them as Chief Justice and Justice of the Supreme Court, Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers, the Administrator of the Judicial Assembly's Common Fund, the Special Prosecutor, and other persons specified under the Constitution or any other enactment. Mr. Chair, I have been informed that a moment ago, Mr. Speaker has made certain orders to the effect that this committee committee has to be reconstituted. I would want to bring such orders of Mr. Speaker to your attention in view of certain developments on the House floor. I do not know whether such development has come to your attention too. But since Mr. Speaker has made consequential orders and it has just been brought to my attention, I believe that we may have to be guided by the orders of Mr. Speaker. And he went further to say that we should proceed according to my first deputy whip. He is further directed that we appear before him in his office. So I'm just bringing this to your attention, and he, with emphasis, according to the first deputy whip, that leadership should come to him so that this appointment committee is reconstituted. I believe that when we appear before him, he would give the directives as to how this can be done in accordance with our rules. So I'm just bringing this to your attention, for your guidance. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for bringing it to my attention. I will give the floor to Honorable Mahama Yariga, the Majority Leader. Then I will make categorical pronouncement.
Chairman, the Minority Leader started reading Order 217. Minority Leader started reading Order 217. But he didn't conclude on why he was reading Order 217. I don't know if he was reading Order 217 with a view to raising a question of quorum, or he just enjoys reading Order 217. So can you tell us why you read Order 217?
Okay, Chairman, Leader, thank you very much. The reason I referred to Order 217 was that the information from the first deputy whip was to the effect that Mr. Speaker has made certain orders at the plenary, and he consequentially added that this committee, as presently constituted, must be reconstituted. 1. And 2, that this committee leadership of this committee should meet him in his office. I did not go into details as to the orders, but I only had to refer to the 217 because we know from what the first deputy whip just told me that there are certain developments at the plenary. So, and I felt that I should bring that to the attention of Chair.
Thank you. Yes, I was at plenary when the Speaker made a formal communication to the House. In the Speaker's communication, he did not suspend the sitting of the Appointments Committee. He did not suspend the sitting of the Appointments Committee. What the Speaker said is that the Chief Whip of the minority and the Chief Whip of the majority, who are members of the Appointments Committee pursuant to Order 217, 1A and B have been suspended from the House for 10 days. You know the quorum. Sorry, 2 weeks, not 10 days, 2 weeks. You know the provision relating to quorum. And when you read the composition of the Appointments Committee, I thought that you probably were entertaining a view that if the Majority Chief Whip and the Minority Chief Whip are suspended, then we will not have quorum to do business. But if you look at the numbers involved, clearly, even if you take out the Majority Chief Whip and the Minority Chief Whip, just 2 people, you will still have 9 members, and so you will have quorum. Even if the minority walks out, you need just 4 to form a quorum. And I'm assuring you that you will get the 4 to constitute the quorum to transact business. If you break the microphone, you will also be suspended for 2 weeks. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing. Then the second thing that the Speaker said is that the Committee on Selection, it doesn't say the leadership of this Appointments Committee. So the Committee on Selection should meet him immediately after adjournment for us to reconsider the constitution of the Appointments Committee, including the rules of the Appointments Committee. When he was leaving the chamber headed to his office, I followed him and said it will be difficult to meet now. So he rescheduled the meeting to Monday, 11 a.m. So the Speaker is not expecting you in his office because he's not even in the building. He has gone to send his wife to the airport. She's traveling, and he actually told us his wife is traveling, and the Speaker loves his wife. So he went to send his wife to the airport. So there's no problem. The Speaker is not requesting for your presence at any meeting now. And the Speaker has not suspended the proceedings of this committee. He's spoken about the reconstitution of the committee, and he's spoken about the consideration of the rules of the committee. So this committee is properly constituted, and this committee should continue working.
Chairman, thank you. I was in the chamber with the respected majority leader and the leader of the House. The Speaker, to quote him, he said that the Committee of Selection need to meet immediately to reconstitute the Appointment Committee. So what he said, Chairman, with your permission, I have the Speaker voice. I can play it here to say exactly what he said. This is what the Speaker said.
Today,
Please,
today,
I disallow you playing that.
to reconstitute the Appointment Committee.
Please, this is disallowed.
Walking out.
Appointment committee doesn't constitute the committees of parliament.
No, he said the selection committee to reconstitute the appointment committee today. That's what I've just played. That's what he said. And I've brought that to your attention. So if we move forward, it means that we are obeying the orders of the Speaker. I just want to draw that to your attention.
Honourable members, let me place on record that the Deputy Whip is not a conduit through which Speaker will communicate to the Appointment Committee. Yeah. Article 102 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana is very clear regarding quorum. And this is a parliamentary business. Let me read A quorum of parliament, apart from the person presiding, shall be 1/3 of all members of parliament. If you relate that to this particular committee, a quorum will be 4 out of 11. 2, Article 104 is clear on decision making, and you need 50%. So therefore, if 2 people, 50% of the members of the committee, if 2 members are suspended out of a membership of 11, we have 9 members of the committee. We form quorum, we can do business, and can as well take decisions. So, honorable members, we are not going to countenance any attempt to delay the proceedings of this House. With due difference to the Deputy Whip, I think it is in the interest of Ghanaians that we proceed to conduct the proceedings of the committee without any interruption in any manner whatsoever. This is my ruling. I will proceed to give the floor to the minority leader to ask his questions.
Chairman, I understand your ruling. I just want to draw your attention to one thing, then you can proceed. Chairman, I want to draw your attention to Order 217, and then to emphasize on 2171A and B. They said the appointment committee comprises, and I'm emphasizing on A and B, that says the majority chief whip, the minority chief whip, and C says 5 other members. Chairman, the A and B does not refer to a member, but a portfolio, majority chief whip, minority chief whip. In this sense, if the minority and the majority chief whip are suspended and their name is mentioned under this order, so who is in this committee as minority chief whip and majority chief whip?
Indirectly, in your own wisdom, you are telling us that parliamentary proceedings will not go on because the majority chief whip and the minority chief whip are suspended for 2 weeks because they are also members of parliament and they hold those respective positions. I beg to differ, and I'll submit on record that will rather amount to having a blurred view of the law. Can we make progress?
Yes. Thank you.
Honourable members, I won't recognize any non-member of the committee.
A blurred view of the law.
And Industries Limited.
Yes, I talked about it earlier.
You said the shareholders include some other private persons, correct?
Yeah, I said that there are other persons in this arrangement, and 2 other persons are in this arrangement.
So I just want to be specific so that we can get specific answers. If you say there are 2 other persons in this arrangement, now, is it the directorship you are referring to or the shareholding?
The directorship.
Okay, so now let's come to the shareholding. Are you the sole shareholder of this entity?
Yes, I am.
But if it's the same company, you had earlier, unless you want to amend your answer, in your earlier response to this very company, you had indicated that there are other shareholders. That is where Chairman said that because they are not here and they are private persons, you are exempt from mentioning their names. So I want you to bring clarity to that.
Well, I'll be happy to see the verbatim report, but for the record, I am a sole shareholder and there are other directors.
Mr. Chairman, at this point, you know, my inclination is to exercise utmost respect. We are in leadership. If I disrespect you, then I'm disrespecting myself. But I need to make the point very firmly. From what has come to my attention from the Deputy Whip, I think that it was very clear in the language of Mr. Speaker on the need for us to immediately get to the committee of selection to proceed to reconstitute the appointment committee. I will repeat it to your attention that let us err on the side of caution so that we do the right thing. At least if you had even suspended sitting the hearing for even a minute to enable you to listen to the speaker's voice, private, I'm sure you will be able to at least appreciate the situation in a different light, or possibly call Mr. Speaker himself. We can suspend for just a minute to enable you call the speaker, but in the Honorable Majority Leader, just a second. Honorable Alassane Umar, please, the call is on all of us to show deference. If I talk, you talk, it doesn't help. So I would want to respectfully say that with what I know now, I would want to recuse myself in order not to be in breach of Mr. Speaker's orders. I can't force speak, Chairman. Chairman has his discretion, and I need to respect that. So I leave it at that to you, and then I'm sure we can take up other matters. Thank you so much, sir.
Honorable members, the information is clear from the Majority Leader that owing to the circumstances, the Speaker has rescheduled a meeting to Monday at 11. We are proceeding with the vetting. Any member who wants to recuse himself is free to do so. After all, we are living in a free and a democratic dispensation. So, please, let's proceed.
Chairman, with respect, I am extending to you all courtesies. My language in the application was done in utmost good faith and with respect to you. If you use phrases like democratic state and freedom of whatever, I don't think that it helps the situation. I refer to Speaker. Chairman, I will continuously express
my views and show you respect. I'm pleading with you to be measured in the language you use. I will not do anything to hurt you in terms of language use. The language you just use is in bad taste, and I believe it's unacceptable. If it pleases you, you may withdraw. If you say you are the chairman and what you say is final, it's fine, but at least I've made my point to you.
Honorable members, unless the minority leader has been able to point exactly to free or how free and democratic dispensation will be unparliamentary, I will be glad to withdraw it. But this is a phrase that we always use even on the floor of Parliament, and by our own standing order. It's not in bad taste, it is not unparliamentary, it is not insulting. So clearly, I do not know why we are even going on this tangent. So, honorable members, I beg, let's make progress. But from the indication of the minority leader, he has finished asking the questions. Then I will proceed to acknowledge our guests and consequentially discharge the witness. Honourable members, we have Mrs. Nuhila Sedu Nuela. Then those who are typing the spouse of the nominee. Then we have Togbiga Patamia Jokli, President of Bator Traditional Council. But honorable members, it may interest you to know that because I know Bator, what is written here is Bata.
I promoted myself.
Honorable members, we have Mamaga Asieku, Paramount Queen Mother of Bator Traditional Council. We have Dr. Nana Edusei Echuniwa Ampim, the first, President of Tepa Traditional Council. We have Chief Damana Nafia Mustafa, alias Nyaba and friends from Salaga. We have Mama Agbovi, Paramount Queen Mother of Dofo, traditional area. We also have Togwi Ababio, Acting President of Volo traditional area. We have Togwi Misrobi III, Mankralo of Fojoku traditional area. We have Mama Aku Seme, Queen Mother of Mepe traditional area. We have Ambassador Ekuya Dansoa, former member of parliament and former ambassador to Germany. We have Honorable Daniel Yao Domolovu and the rest of oral team members. We have Ambassador Cleland Ramses, Chief Director, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the rest of the Foreign Affairs staff. You are welcome. Honorable nominee, Honorable Dr. Obera Samoa, former Attorney General and Minister of State. You are highly welcome. Honorable nominee, thank you so much for attending upon the committee. You hear from the committee, you are hereby discharged. The next nominee should take his seat.
The vetting that started at 12:40 p.m. has just ended at 6:41 p.m. That's, Bernard, you are the mass person. That's how many hours?
6 hours.
6 hours of non-stop questioning. So there are a few breaks, though. There were a total of 10 minutes break that the committee took to deal with a few issues. Then maybe back and forth on the announcement by the speaker, maybe that could be 10 minutes. But still, it's over 5.
A very long vetting.
Yeah, it's been a very, very long vetting.
Yeah.
And so what has happened is that Samuel Kudjeto Ablakwa has gone through the vetting. At the end, after Apenyo-Markin has asked questions, and he started at 4:11 p.m., so 5:11, 6:11, more than 2 hours and a half of questioning, he decided he was not going to be party to the continuing or the exercise because of an announcement that was made on the floor of Parliament. That announcement has to do with the suspension of 4 members of Parliament who belong to this particular committee. In his view, because these 4 are not available, especially the whips who are mentioned specifically in the standing orders of the House, the committee cannot continue to function. But Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga appears before the House, the committee, and says that no, that cannot be true. What the Speaker purportedly said, according to Habib, is not true, and that the selection committee will sit on Monday to make a determination. The Speaker is on his way to the airport to see of his wife who is traveling. So what I have foreseen now, and the committee is not closing for the day, they've asked for the next nominee to sit before them. What that means that there's likely going to be vetting without MPP MPs.
It appears so, because once the minority leader leaves, you can see the seats are already empty. And we don't know whether this will continue into tomorrow, because from what the majority is saying, the Speaker is asking the meeting to be on Monday.
Yeah.
But the minority believe the meeting is to be immediate.
Yeah.
Because the Tolon MP said that the meeting was to be immediate. And we know there's vetting tomorrow as well. So it looks like if this continues, there will be another 6 or so vettings without the minority. But we are not sure yet.
Yeah.
But for now, they are not there.
So, Alex Apenyo, I don't know, Sami, I don't know what you make of the... So it's an argument on law. This person thinks that let's not continue.
Yeah.
This person thinks no, let's continue. The issue of
it's about the interpretation of what the Speaker said. Who is interpreting whatever well? Because from what Apenyo was saying, he wasn't in the chamber when it was being announced. Mahama Ayariga was present. And so they are relying on what Mahama Ayariga, Majority Leader, is saying, that the Speaker said is not immediate and that there's a new time for it. But Apenyo says from their communication, they believe that it should be immediate and now. Until Mahama Ayariga is rather telling that the Speaker is not around. So it's about who is interpreting what the Speaker said rightly.
So it's a word, it's a word of Mahama Ayariga versus the word of the Tolon MP. I think we have to go back to the chamber. Bernard, who is next?
Well, he just introduced himself. I'm sure.
let's go to
it's one of the regional
minister nominees. So I think we'll go back to the committee room and hear the proceedings.
So this is the minority will not be part of.
I was born on the 24th of July, 1969, in a community, in a town called Nalergu, now the capital of Northeast Region. Mr. Chairman, I started my education in Nalergu. My basic level went through and had my secondary education in Tamale Secondary, where I did my O-level and A-level. And from there, I proceeded to the University of Cape Coast, where I studied economics and sociology. I graduated with an honors degree in social science, econ sociology as my major. And at the same time, I concurrently had a diploma in education. From there, I proceeded to do my national service, and I was employed. After the national service, I got a job with Unilever Ghana Limited, and I worked with that company for almost 7 years. And I proceeded to set up my own business. After a while, I also proceeded to the U.S. Western New England University in Springfield to do my MBA and a leadership certificate course. So, Mr. Chairman, from there, I came back to continue my private enterprise until 2020, when I got an opportunity to serve my people as the MP for Nalergo-Gambaga constituency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I proceed to recognize Honorable Haji Aladi Ayamba. Very well, very well. I'll give the floor to Honorable Shaibu Mama.
Mr. Chairman, I'm exceedingly grateful for the opportunity. Honorable nominee, congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
A very well-deserved nomination by the President. And trust that I have no questions about your ability to deliver. Just a few questions on two of them, actually. It's a new ministry that has been created. I mean, you would hear people say, there's a Minister for Environment, and tell us. I'm sure you have some briefing with the President or a representative. What is it about climate that you are going to do? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, first and foremost, this ministry or this position as a Minister of State is not a ministry, Minister of State. I see it's a very important intervention that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has initiated. Mr. Chairman, it takes a visionary leader to do what His Excellency has done. And when we begin the conversation into details, everybody will understand what I mean by this. Mr. Chairman, my role is not a duplication. I'm only supposed to collaborate with existing ministries. Those ministries that are into climate change and climate change in the climate change ecosystem. I'm supposed to coordinate them, because if you look at what is happening now, Mr. Chairman, we have pockets of initiatives seated in the various ministries. And the President thinks that he should nominate me to be the coordinating point where all these initiatives and programs are brought under one envelope. And that is going to aid us to prosecute the agenda and the objective of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So I'm going to be a focal point at the presidency to rally all the resources, human capital, to support all these ministries, so that at the end of the day, we can all move and work towards the vision of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Shabu. Please continue.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. My last question will have to do with some initiatives that you may want to propose to critically address the issue of climate change. Please tell us, share with us. And on that note, let me congratulate you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, let me say that climate change is in very ordinary terms, because people look at it and it looks like, what is this climate change all about? We have to bring it down to the ordinary understanding. And for me, I look at it as a shift in temperature and weather patterns. Okay? Now, Mr. Speaker, if you look at our current circumstance, we are bedeviled with unpredictable rainfalls, floods, disaster, diseases. And these diseases and floods and heat and all those, things that I'm talking about are occasioned by climate change. Invariably, we want to say that the world is very, very sick. Mr. Chairman, the world is sick. There's too much heat. Everybody is feeling uncomfortable. Those days we used to say that we have a Accra sea breeze. Where's the sea breeze now, Mr. Chairman? Kumasi, we used to say Kumasi is the garden city. Where is it now? So primarily, the whole world is challenged. So what do we do to address these challenges? Mr. Speaker, you, Mr. Chairman, now you realize that these challenges are to a large extent influenced by the threats of climate change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now proceed to give the floor to Honorable Sowa.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I wish to congratulate my brother for your nomination by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I want to find out what specific programs will you prioritize to combat climate change in Ghana when given the opportunity?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, what I will do if I am given the nod is to support the existing ministries to come out with initiatives that will target the perennial floodings that we have. Mr. Chairman, we need to have climate-resistant initiatives so that we can target the vulnerable institutions that we have. The vulnerable sectors of the economy is the agriculture sector. We're talking about the energy sector. We're talking about forestry. We need to come out with climate-resistant initiatives, and that is the way to go to address climate change. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chairman. Honorable nominee, I wish you the very best in your appointment, and I believe and know that having worked with you in the 8th Parliament, you are going to deliver to the best of your ability. I wish you God's blessings.
Thank you very much.
Chairman.
Thank you very much. The indication is that the rest of the members do not really have questions for you. I will therefore proceed to recognize your revered guests. On my list is Alhaji Hassan Ligbi, former Managing Director of Metro Mass Transit. Honorable Alhaji Mohammed Muniru Limuna, former Agric Minister. Mrs. Vida Elham Isifu, spouse of the nominee. Damata Isaka, Narelugu Gambaga Constituency Women Organizer, NDC. Dauda Yakubu, Chief of Zablugu. Baba Seidu, Senior, brother of the nominee. Chief Suleimana Adam, leader of the Yangbon Ura's delegation. Chief Akara, leader of Nairi's delegation. Chief Wundana Chimisi, member of the Nairi's delegation. Langbisi Kabona, warrior of the Nairi. Thank you very much for coming. Honorable nominee, you hear from the committee, you are hereby discharged.
Thank you.
Well, we always said that Linda Oklu's vetting was the shortest ever. Well, this isn't the shortest, but it was short.
This is even shorter.
It looks like...
Well, at least he was asked some questions.
Okay. He was asked 1 or 2 questions. And so this is what is going to happen. And for those who are just joining us, the NPP MPs on the Appointments Committee have staged a walkout. They say they have a difficulty with the formation.
They actually said they have recused so themselves, which is not technically a walkout. Because a walkout may be on the basis of sort of a procedural disagreement. But he's saying that in respect of the speaker and his understanding of what the speaker directed, they will not take part.
So they will not be party to whatever is happening. Yes. They believe is unlawful.
So it's technically not a walkout.
But you can recuse yourself by sitting and not asking or
taking part. By your presence, you are part of the crime. So he believes that a wrong thing is happening, and therefore they've recused themselves.
This should be Frank Gardner. Sorry, that's
Charity Gardner, who is the nominee for.
Frank Gardner is
for BBC I think it's the Ahafo region.
Yes. Let's take the oath, and it's likely that they are going to have a lot of nominees appearing before the committee tonight because it's a one-sided one, and when they don't have questions for you, which we've heard from the nominee that just went past, this one too may not have a lot of questions, and then we keep proceeding. Let's wait and see what happens next.
That the evidence I shall give before this committee.
That the evidence I shall give before this committee.
Touching the matter in issue.
Touching the matter in issue.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God. You didn't hear me. Hey. Then what's the problem? It's a mic.
Honorable nominee, kindly proceed to tell the committee about yourself.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, first and foremost, I would like to use this opportunity to thank the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for the honor done me for nominating me. Mr. Chairman, my name is Mrs. Charity Gardner from Ahafo region, Kenyasi to be precise. Mrs. Charity Gardner is a young lady, a politician, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, and a businesswoman. I hold master's degree in strategic human resource management from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. I'm a private person and I manage my own business. I am the director for Freematch Limited Company. Previously, I have worked as a constituency executive member in the Sutifi North constituency. I have also worked as Deputy Regional Secretary for Ahafo region, and currently I am the Regional Women's Organizer for Ahafo region. Mr. Chairman, I am married to Mr. Frederick Gardner, and we have 2 kids. I worship with ICGC Kenyasi Peace Temple. We have 2 kids. Mrs. Gardner is teachable, and I'm ready to listen from all angles. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I proceed to give the floor to Haji Aladi.
Thank you, Chairman. Mrs. Gardner, a nominee, congratulations.
Thank you, Honorable.
I'm so happy, at least, to have seen a colleague woman being nominated. Is someone calling me? Being nominated. And I believe that your competence cannot be underestimated. That is why you have been nominated by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has made it a point that at least 30% women would be in his governance. With this, there are so many young girls around, not only within where you live or stay, our schools especially. Most of them are going to look up to you because they would wish to be like you. What will you do to ensure that you encourage the girl child in school and those women in the market who sell morning to evening and sometimes will not make it even any money for the following day? What are the few things that you will do? Please don't go too much. I just want something small to give me that message. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think all we are talking about is empowering women. And women empowerment is something personally I'm so passionate about. That is why I've set up a Charity Gardner Foundation to support the children, women, and the youth in my region. So when I'm giving the nod, by the grace of God, from this honorable committee. I'll use the foundation and also leverage on our Women's Development Bank to empower the women in my region. Mr. Chairman, there are a lot of women out there, market women, entrepreneurs who are looking up to us. It will interest you to know that there are women who have ventured in so many businesses and they are making losses because they didn't take their time to assess the business before they ventured into it. So when I'm given the opportunity, I will use this high office to educate them on how they can keep records, how they can manage their businesses so that they don't make losses. I also leverage on the Women's Development Bank so that they can have financial support to empower their businesses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's finish this. Please, any further question?
Yes, Mrs. Gardner, the free distribution of sanitary pads to the girl child was an initiative that the NDC government took up, and it helped most of our girls, especially those who cannot afford. Will you consider, especially now that you are running a philanthropic business, will you consider continuing or reinitiating that program to help the girl child? Thank you. And that is my last question. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I mentioned earlier, this is something I'm already into it. I've supplied a lot of sanitary pads to the people in my community. So when I'm giving the nod, I will continue so that the people in my community will also continue to benefit from the work I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I now give the floor to Honorable George Kwaku Ricketts Hagan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Nominee, congratulations.
Thank you, Honorable.
I'm sure you will do well. And the President selected you in his wisdom to do a job to help his government. And I'm sure you will do well. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are extremely grateful for you attending upon the committee and providing answers to questions. You would hear from the committee, but before discharging you, let me proceed to acknowledge your revered guests seated behind you, giving you moral support. We have Nana Jan Ketechie, Apeseman Kahini of Ntotrusu. We have Nana Ya Educhumwa II, Omahima of Kinyasi #1. We have Nana Minta Yebua, Omahima of Chirensua. We have Honorable Yao Ochre, Regional Chairman NDC Ahafo. We have Honorable Asanaba Imoro, Regional Secretary NDC Ahafo. We have Honorable Alaji Collins Daoda, our Senior Member of Parliament. We have Honorable Eriko Opoku, Minister responsible for Agric. Honorable Charles Kwesi Asiedu, Member of Parliament. Honorable Haruna Mohammed, Member of Parliament. Honorable Ebenezer Ado, Member of Parliament. Nana Ama Sewa, Mother of the nominee. And we have Mr. Anthony Kofi Gardner, Father of the nominee. You are most welcome. Honorable Minister Designate, you are hereby discharged.
Thank you.
Well, this is Don't Kumi vetting. It's going as quickly as it can. And so I think, a few minutes, we've already seen 2 nominees come before the appointment committee.
The nominee for sustainability, I thought should have spent a bit more time.
Yes.
Because it's a very critical ministry that came up in energy, it came up in environment, it came up in lands, it came up in foreign affairs. So I was thinking that even though the minority had left, they should have given him a few more questions to give us a sense of what he was going to do. This one I'm not surprised, because regional ministers, typically when they appear and the committee is not constituting the minority, it wouldn't be that heated. Because Ahafo region may not have as many issues as, say, an Ashanti. But I'm surprised that the former MP for Naleru Gambaga, who came in, spent less than 10 minutes. Because his ministry or his portfolio is a very critical portfolio in where the world is. So I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised about this one.
So you see, I think that we would have gotten substance from the committee if the minority had remained.
Yes.
Historically, we know that the questions come from the opposition side.
Yes.
If NDC is in power, we don't expect NDC MPs to ask questions. If MPP is in power, we don't expect MPP MPs to ask questions.
Unless the nominees' ministry like roads or finance, where everybody wants to
have an interest,
ask a question to register, and also because they believe that there are things that minister has to do for their constituency.
That's true. And that's why the minority should have stayed. You see, I understand why Alex Afenyomarkin led his team out. They don't want to be part of a quote and unquote a wrongdoing. However, as committee members, you are guided by the chairman. The chairman is a speaker. The chairman says he has ruled that you should stay and do your work. If there's going to be any
repercussion,
it will be on the head of the chairman. So I think they should have stayed and done it.
Or they could have gone into conclave to discuss it and possibly place a call to the speaker to be sure.
Yeah.
Because, as you are saying, there were 2 opposing thoughts. Yes. And looking at what happened yesterday and what everybody had said, I felt that, but to be fair, the kinds of ministers coming to be vetted are not as high profile.
But you see, Bernard, I don't think they need to even call the speaker, who is the leader of the House.
He's the majority leader.
And he has come to the committee and said that when the speaker adjourned, I walked him out to his office.
Yeah, but
and
that's
he
not
told
formal
me,
communication.
I know, but he has come to communicate to the committee. And if he's the leader of the House, and that's why he has that privilege, and he comes to say that ABCD is a direction. The speaker is a leader of parliament. However, he takes no instruction but guidance or advice from the leader. So I thought that they should have stayed so that we can see some thoroughness, because tonight we are not going to see any thoroughness. Now we have another nominee standing already, being sworn in.
So
that's he's with Savannah region,
Savannah
John Mahama's home region. Let's take the oath and then see what questions they have for him.
This committee.
Touching the matter in issue.
Touching the matter in issue.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
Let me mention the name first, then I can connect it.
Order. Marshal, please clear the floor, the corridor for us. Honourable members, let's make progress. I call on Honourable Hajia Ladi Ayamba to start.
You didn't give any introduction.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations, Mr. Nominee.
Thank you, Chairman.
Please, let's go back. Tell us about yourself. Then, Hajia, you take the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Salisu Biawarbe Isifu is my name. I am a lawyer by profession, a graduate of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. For my first degree, I did land economy. I came back to the same university and studied law for the LLB. I came to University of Ghana, Legon, to do my master's in law. Indeed, I'm currently a lecturer of the University for Development Studies, Nyankpala, a law lecturer at the law faculty of the university. Previously, I was a district chief executive for the Central Gonja District Assembly.
2009 to 2013. Subsequent to that, I contested as a regional secretary of NDC, and before that, I was also a deputy regional secretary of NDC in the then larger northern region. After the separation, the division of the regions, I went to my home region, Savannah, and up to date, I'm still the regional secretary. I'm also a professional teacher, subsequent to which I went for my further studies. This is size to be aware. I am married with children, and my home city is Kosovo in the central Gonja district, born in Yapi.
Thank you very much, Hajia. You don't have the floor now.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations, Honorable Salisu.
Thank you, Chairman.
From your profile and the information you've just given us, it means you've been around for quite a long time in the party. You have worked, taken up various positions, and I will say it means you have learned to at least do the work for the people. From your background as a lawyer, and then
our revered guest, do you really want your nominee to be vetted? Do you want the nominee vetted? If really you want the nominee vetted, take your seat in silence.
As you can see, there are no seats, so just stand there quietly. Don't delay your nominee. You are begging.
Honorable Hajaladi, please proceed with your question.
Mr. Nominee, from your expertise, I am also someone from the northern sector, particularly the Upper East. And I know that the Savannah region has got a lot of areas that we produce so much food stuff. But the women, many a times, find it very difficult to acquire land in order to also do some farming. They go about looking for land. Sometimes they have to pay tokens to enable them farm. Sometimes they get these lands from their husbands or siblings or parents, but it doesn't stay long. They take it back. What will you do to give education to our parents or our husbands or our brothers and sisters to support women so that they would have land in order to also cultivate whatever crops they want?
Thank you, Chairman. In fact, in Savannah region, to be precise, we don't have issues of women finding difficulty in acquiring land. Land in Savannah region is an abundance, and I can say that, Honorable, if you even want land for purposes of farming, be free to come to Savannah region. It is not for nothing that the first president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, ought to bring people, our colleagues from Upper East, to Savannah because of the vast nature of the arable lands there. And as we speak, there are several communities who have got their roots from Upper East, but they are now indigenous in Savannah region, courtesy the policy of His Excellency Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Mr. Chairman, my second question. I'm happy to have heard that you don't have any land problems and that even if I want, and I will surely come. Now,
you are more than welcome.
My pleasure. My second question has to do with cutting of food from farms or wherever you might have them cultivated and kept to the market, because sometimes the food stuff that we produce are food stuff that we sell even in less than 6 months after cultivation, but we find it difficult to cut it to the marketplaces. Yam, for instance, that will not be so long if it is not properly stored. What will you do to support farmers to enable them cut their food stuff or produce, farm produce, to the marketplaces so that they don't have a lot of post-harvest losses?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has clearly stated that he has got a policy to support farmers. And as a regional minister, I will work in collaboration with my colleagues of other sectors to be able to see what we can practically put on the ground. For cutting of foodstuffs from the farm gate to the market is contingent on a lot of factors, one of which will be accessibility of the farm to the centers. Another is the means of carrying it. And as we speak today, indeed, courtesy these tricycles, motor kings, and the rest, if indeed there is resource for which some people or farmers can procure them, it will make the cutting quite easy with accessible routes. But we must equally agree that the yields and the quality of the seeds that we are using is becoming a challenge. And the improved seeds that will give us higher yields are also very expensive for our farmers. Thankfully, we have got Women Development Bank and other policies that NDC has promised to put in place. And when we leverage that, I can tell you, every farmer will be happy, and farming will become much, much economical to the people of Ghana.
As an educationist, and myself also being a teacher by profession, I observed one problem: the education of the girl child. When they start from class 1 up to class 3, many times the enrollment, you find that the girl child, the girls in a classroom are more than the boys. But as they get into class 3, 4, and then above, they begin leaving school. And it looks like we are not able to control this factor. As an educationist yourself, and getting into this position, and having worked all this while, and a lawyer, will you make it incumbent on yourself to ensure that you give that education and support to the girl child and to the parents to support the girl child continue with education? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, by the grace of God, we will work together to give that massive support, because it's a policy of the NDC government and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Net enrollment ratio is always a challenge as you move higher, but they are also dependent on several other customary and other allied factors, one of which is the ability of the peasant farmer to be able to afford the education, and therefore the farmer would prefer to invest in the boy child, thinking that the boy child will not leave him, but the girl child may. But the practical experience is that even our women, when they get better education, they take care more of their parents than even we, the men. And this is the practical reality. So the education will go deeper, and our people will appreciate it the most. And there are demonstrable examples that we can use. Haja Zuera is here as my MP, a woman MP who has risen to the top for Savannah. And she's a shining example for our women in Savannah, and we can use her as one.
Thank you very much. I appreciate, and I am really happy to have heard those responses. And don't forget, when I come and I'm talking about my land, don't tell me that I didn't say it. That's why I said it in public. I would come for farming. Very big one.
We would absolutely give. Thankfully, you are not a Kasana or a Sisala.
No.
Because they are our playmates. For them, we would definitely settle it in the Yagwari.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I proceed to recognize Honorable Alasan Umar.
Thank you, Chairman. Alaji Swalisu, congratulations.
Thank you, Chairman.
It's not yet Alaji, just like me. Don't worry, we'll soon go there. I'm happy for you. I know you've worked for the party. We were in the big northern region together, and we supported your success, which you took to Savannah. I have a simple question relating to your former job, which is the district chief executive. As a district chief executive, you probably came across conflict between the district chief and the regional minister vis-a-vis your MPs. How are you going to transfer that kind of knowledge to be able to bring solution and friendship between yourself and your MPs as well as your DCs?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Conflicts are a natural part of human behavior. And in many instances, when you identify the source or the cause of the conflict, it is easy to resolve them. And my attention is to identify what is creating this conflict. Some of the conflicts which exist are nothing but communication gap between the member of parliament for that area with whom the people voted and are always and all the time contacting. Then an appointed DC who might not have participated actively in even the decision-making process in getting the government and the MP elected, but yet administering the district. This, when you get that synergy, you can always see how best you can resolve them. But I can tell you that it is not always a problem of the MP or a problem of the DC. Sometimes even their supporters can create some kind of conflict without their knowledge, knowing very well that some of them will benefit from the conflict between the DC and the MP. So analysis of the conflict is a pure way to get the best solution for it. At the end of the day, we must work together as one party, one government, and ensure that the people get the best of the all development. This is the principal objective, and I will ensure that we will do that. More so, with my background in alternative dispute resolution, I would obviously be at the helm of affairs, by the grace of God.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'm satisfied, and thank you. I wish you well.
It's now the turn of Honorable Mahama Shaibu.
Mr. Chairman, I'm exceedingly grateful. Honorable nominee, Esipo, congratulations.
Thank you,
good.
Mr. Chairman.
New region, diverse cultures, slow pace of development. Just tell us how you combine these three in accelerating the development of the region. Thank you.
In fact, it is true. We have in excess of indigenous ethnic groups in the area called Savannah, over 21 of them who are indigenous, and they are principally have no other place but Savannah. And I can tell you that they've lived together peacefully for all these years. Now that we've got a region, there are people who are now trying to infuse in other people some ownership that hitherto they were not exercising. You hear some people trying to create a paramountcy to which they don't usually customers have a paramountcy, but by the nature of things, they are bringing those issues up. Others are also claiming land rights to which they were not having. All this must be documented and see to it being done appropriately, and the necessary advice and institutions will be made to do that. But if it is that of Savannah, I can tell you the people of Savannah are disappointed. We called for a region to be created, not a name change. We wanted development. Unfortunately, we have seen nothing of that. It's just changing the bottle, but the same wine. And that is the reality. We will make sure that we'll get the best. For example, in educational development, we are last in the country. In power, we are last in the country. In human resource development and governance, we are last in the country. A lot of the indicators are not giving us a good picture. And this is the 2024 report that indeed this level report is indicating to us. And this is a challenge for all of us to be able to see how best we can improve the lives of the people of Savannah. And together, we shall succeed.
Thank you so much. My advice, work closely with your MPs, and then you will be successful. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
Most grateful, Chairman.
I will now call on Honorable George Kweku Ricketts Hagan.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nominee, Honorable Salifu, congratulations.
Thank you, Chairman.
I just have a couple of questions here for you. First one, and then I'll do a follow-up on it. I'll give the whole question to you. Do you have boundary disputes between the districts in the Savannah region?
Chairman, yes, there are.
Okay, so would you tell me tell me those ones, and then tell me how you resolve them?
Mr. Chairman,
No.
it is true that as a country, after the 1988 district creations, there has not been a conscious effort to name the various electoral areas and communities which form a district. What we do have is to mention an electoral area. And the interesting aspect of it is that there is that challenge of people trying to assume that customary jurisdiction is coterminous with administrative boundaries. And this is creating a problem. In the creation of Savannah region, indeed the LI came, but there's no boundary demarcation of the Savannah region. So there's a tendency of people to live at some other jurisdiction and think that they are not part of the Savannah region, or they are part of Savannah region. And a typical example is that of Daboya. We have a community in Daboya where there's a principal speaking Mampurli population who are on Gonja land and have been in the territory of the North Gonja district. Some are claiming that they will not even want to be part of North Gonja district, but they claim their part that they settle is not part of the West Gonja, but that of Northeast, which obviously is a cause of the fact that there's no clear-cut demarcation. We have Boundaries Commission, and we have got Cadastral Mapping and Survey Department of the Lands Commission. If we engage them, we can appropriately delineate the various district boundaries. If need be, we can go back to the Lab 1 or Lab 2 the Lands Commission used to operate to get customer areas, delineate properly their customary boundaries. And with that, we can get a long-lasting solution to the issue of boundary disputes.
Thank you. My second question, I realize that revenue generation, by your district assemblies are quite low. So, as a regional minister, what would you do to actually support the assemblies to improve on their revenue generation? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. It is true that if you don't have a proper identification of the revenue basis of your district, you record low revenue generation. If you also employ people who are seeing the revenue generation for a district assembly as not something that they ought to account properly as public funds, that in itself can get people collecting it. And we have instances whereby, indeed, people who claim to be party people or some other people have got their own camps collecting money somewhere, and they are not accounting to the assembly. We have also got some leakages which exist in trying to account properly for the revenue so generated. So my solution is to make sure that we leverage IT and make sure that the collection of the revenue is proper and duly accounted for. The second is to see other revenue generating measures. Remember that assemblies are not only to go and levy levies or taxes. they can also invest in productive businesses through which they can yield the dividends for the assembly. This is part of the issues that I'll put out to my assembly people and for them to adapt.
Mike. Mr. Nominee, welcome to the club of regional ministers, past and present. I wish you all the best. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable nominee, are you called to the bar?
Mr. Chairman, I'm called to the bar.
Which year?
2022.
Ghana bar is what I'm talking about. He understands.
Senior understands. People are saying Pito bar. This is Ghana bar.
Very well, very well. We have a senior Ayariga here, so I won't mention my age at the bar. Honorable nominee, thank you very much for attending upon the committee and providing answers to questions asked. You've answered the questions very eloquently, and it is my belief that you work very creditably and reliably for the responsibilities that are ahead of you. May I proceed to recognize your invited guests. First on my list is Seydou Kelly, Damango Urana, Damango Ura, Mankpaura Jakpa, the first. Mr. Adams, Yangbon Ura's linguist. Alhaji Seydou Imoro, regional chairman. Lawyer Salma Adams, spouse of the deceased. Spouse of the nominee.
Chairman, I'm so alive.
Are you interested?
Statement withdrawn.
I'm alive.
Statement withdrawn. Spouse of the nominee. Spouse of the nominee. Honourable members, we have Soku Yahuza, regional organizer. Ali Babakari Kasim, regional treasurer. Kansa Urache, Queen Mother. Oliver Hawa Yaya, lawyer Mohammed Amin, Gonjaland Youth President. R.A. Jalil, regional communication officer. Honorable members, forgive me, I just went through a letter of administration to be moved by my junior lawyers. So sorry. You are welcome. Thank you very much. You are discharged. You will hear from the committee.
Most grateful, Chairman.
I recognize former member of parliament, my very good friend, Honorable Nelson.
Well, so there you have it. This one would be perhaps longer than the last two. The person who has been nominated to be the Savannah Regional Minister, the home region of the President John Dramani Mahama, Biaurebe lawyer, called to the bar 3 years ago, appearing before the committee, answering questions. And indeed, he took a number of questions from the one-sided committee of appointments, which has been vetting now. The issue is that the NPP side has decided to recuse itself. So all MPP members on the committee, led by Alexander Afenyo-Markin, their leader, decided to recuse themselves. They believe that the committee should not be sitting because of the decision that was earlier announced by the Speaker of Parliament, which announcement saw to the suspension of 4 members of Parliament for the next 2 weeks. And so what we were expecting or suspecting is that a lot of the nominees who have been penciled for vetting would go through with cheeky ease, if you like, because it is their party that is vetting them, and typically we do not see a lot of hard questions, for want of a better word, from members of the same party. And I have seen Felix Kwachio-Fosu, who's been named the government spokesperson, Minister of State. I've seen him sitting there at the committee. I don't know if he's going to be made to swear an oath, Bernard. It looks like...
Yeah, it looks like, you know, in the initial list I saw, he also have been vetted tomorrow, on Saturday, as the first nominee. But it appears because of the speed with which this is happening, they could bring his forward. Because the original list, there were about 2 regional ministers to have been done, Charity Gardner and Savannah, and then Felix Kwachi was to follow Saturday morning.
Yes.
But it looks like with the absence of the minority, it's gone faster. So,
but it is not him in the seat now.
Yes.
Someone else is the one who has been... so I'll need to just refresh the list and see who the next person is, because they appear to be wanting to clear everything. So what, the schedule for today...
was to have had at least 4 or 5 more regional ministers.
Yes. Now that does not include Samuel Kojetua Blakwa and Akando, who were interviewed, who were vetted
yesterday.
earlier. That was a leftover.
So Charity Gardner was the last from yesterday who was
yesterday.
vetted, and then the nominee for sustainability.
So the official list for Friday, 1, the minister nominee for Savannah, he was supposed to be the first, Salisu Biaurebe, who has just finished, Esquire. The next person should be Wilbert Petty Bentum, Minister Designate for Western North.
Yes.
So it appears that's Bentum being sworn in.
Yes.
The next person would then be Felix Kwachio-Fosu for today. He's going to Minister of State Government Communication. Then Joseph Nelson, Minister Designate Western Region. Then we have Kwabna Minta Akando, Minister Designate for Health. He has already gone through. So what I suspect would happen is that now that Bentum is the one being sworn in, we have Felix Kwachio-Fosu next, and possibly Joseph Nelson, and they may call it a day. But then let's go to the committee, and I'm going to leave you, Bernard, now to continue with the coverage. We're going to do this until CNR, and we'll bring in with
so you'll come in live at 8 with the news.
In the next...
I'll be holding the fort until you come.
Yes, please, in the next 20 minutes or so. So I'm recusing myself from the show. I'll be back.
All right.
GSTS. I completed there and later went to the University of Science and Technology School of Mines at Takwa, where I trained as a mine surveyor. There I worked with the Ghana Cocoa Board initially. In fact, before coming to the university, after 6th form, I worked. But I came to the university, went back and taught in the Dwabosu Senior Secondary School, and in the process, I stood elections and won as an assemblyman. And while I was working as an assemblyman, I had a privilege to serve on a number of subcommittees, including a work subcommittee where I was the chairman, and automatically, by the statute, I became the the chairman of a technical evaluation team. I also served on environmental subcommittee, and also member of the statutory planning committee. Mr. Chairman, I later went to do my MSc when the school now changed to University of Mines and Technology. After that, I had the privilege to work with the Ghana Minerals Commission as a staff in the small-scale mining department. After working for some time, I left and joined an international organization called Solidaridad. From there, I had opportunity to work, in fact, on global platforms because we attended seminars and workshops on artisanal small-scale mining. Mr. Chairman, on the side of the party, I've done quite a lot of job. In the 2020, I was the chairman of the Manifesto Committee in the Western North region, a job I think I performed with excellence. I was also a member of the campaign team and was in charge of security. I was the secretary to the security for the elections. So, in a brief, that's what I have to say about myself. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
I'll give the floor to Honorable Mama Yerga.
Let me congratulate you on your nomination to the post, if you are approved by this House, of Regional Minister. Western North, Western Region, the Forest Belt generally, our major challenge now is how to deal with illegal mining activities, especially in forest areas, forest reserves. Can you tell us your appreciation of the problem? What is causing this urge to mine in forest areas or forest reserves? Why are we unable to deal with this problem? Or do you think that we can deal with this problem? And what are your proposals, since you are going to be a regional minister and that whole territory will be under you? And President John Dramani Mahama has made a clear commitment to deal with the problem of illegal mining, especially illegal mining in forest reserves.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think as a country, we're not doing so well on managing small-scale mining activities. And I want to say here that our failure is not because we have not been able to stop artisanal small-scale mining, but our failure is the fact that we have not been able to manage it well. Mr. Chairman, artisanal small-scale mining contributes to the economy very well. And from where I sit, if I want to talk about the type of mining that has benefited Ghanaians, I would say is a small-scale mining. Small-scale mining contributes about 30% of the all gold that is produced in Ghana. Unfortunately, as a country, coming to your question, we've not been able to solve the small-scale mining problem because I think we don't understand them. And it is important we understand them, sit down with them, and they themselves can come out with the solution. Mr. Chairman, I don't want to be misquoted as countenancing the illegality in the mining sector. We have all come to agree that...
Mr. Nominee, you are from the Western North region. You've lived there most of your life, I believe. You have related to or with people in the small-scale mining industry. You say we don't understand. Do you understand? Do you understand them? And if you understand them, can you help us understand them?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Small-scale mining or artisanal small-scale mining is a livelihood issue. And in tackling them, we need to be a bit tactical. That's all what I'm saying. Once you understand somebody, you can sit down with him and they will be part of the solution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you understand the regime that covers small-scale mining? Is there a legal pathway to doing small-scale mining legally? Is there a legal pathway? Is it possible for small-scale mining to be done legally? Is it possible to register, to get a license, a permit, and then to mine under the supervision of the EPA? Is small-scale mining allowed legally in this country?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's allowed.
So, why do you think the young people are not doing legally allowed small-scale mining?
I think that, Mr. Chairman, there should be incentive to the formalization and legalizations of the operations.
What kind of incentives do you think we should have?
For instance, in the previous regime, I'm not being sounding political here, but if you place a blanket ban on small-scale mining without recognizing those who have registered and are indeed doing well, what will be the motivation for others to follow? So we should make formalization or legalization less expensive. That will attract people to actually legalize or formalize their operations. There is a law to that. The Small Scale Mining Act 2006, Act 703, spells out, the modalities for the acquisition of mining licenses. And through the Minerals Commission, the same, statute require them to provide extension services to, the small-scale miners. Mr. Chairman, if you allow me, let me say one thing. That as a former employee of the Minerals Commission, in our extension service provided, we had nothing to do with the illegal miners. But they are the major people causing the problems.
So is it your view that the supervising authorities, let's say Minerals Commission extension officers and EPA officers, should deal with all mining activities on the ground, irrespective of whether they are registered or not, so that at least at the barest minimum, we can ensure that they are mining according to the standards of mining, whether they are registered or not? Is that something that you think is a wise decision?
Mr. Chairman, that is what I will recommend, because they are causing the most of devastation. Let me draw your mind to something. In the training,
so we should separate questions of legality and title to the land where you are mining from the question of whether or not you are mining properly using the proper processes. We should separate those, and Mineral Commission supervisors, EPA officers on the ground should be blind to the question of whether or not you properly have title to the place and focus on anybody who is mining and ensure that they mine according to accepted standard. Do you think that that is a smart thing to do?
That I'm looking at a stepwise approach to get rid of the illegal miners. So we deal with them and then find the best way to get them out. You see? That's what I'm saying, Mr. Chairman.
So what I understand you to be saying is that one of the faults in our system is that Minerals Commission is blind to people actually on the ground mining simply because they don't have proper licenses to mine. EPA officials on the ground in a district will see people engage in small-scale mining, and they will not guide them to mine properly based on appropriate environmental standards, simply because those people don't have licenses to mine their sites. So if we had a regime where any of them, Minerals Commission or even EPA, could step in and supervise them to mine properly, at least we will be ensuring that they mine according to environmentally appropriate standards. Is that a position that you share?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, exactly what I'm saying.
Now, what do you think is the major challenge of these young people to access land? Because I was a Minister for Environment, and I toured the country, and I found out that many of these people that we say are engaged in illegal mining actually want to have permits to mine at the sites where they mine. Is that something you discovered yourself also?
Yes, I think there are limitations to where they can actually acquire licenses to mine.
I'm not saying that, I'm not asking, do they have a desire to have permits to mine the areas that they
yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
Also discover that if they had easy access to permits, that they will mine in an environmentally appropriate manner. Do you discover that?
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
You also discover that they are happy to invest in their site if they had proper permits to mine at those.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
But what is causing them not to have access to permits to those sites? Is it because there are no officers for the Minerals Commission in those locations? Or is it that people at the Minerals Commission have already mapped out all those sites and plotted the names of companies And when these young people go there and they want permits, they are told that the site is occupied. And then they also then decide to resort to illegal, so-called illegal mining. Is that something that you found out?
Yes, actually, the Minerals Commission, Mr. Chairman, have blocked out areas for small-scale mining. And most of these miners go outside the blocked out areas. And that is what brings about the illegality in the first place.
Do the Minerals Commission people carry out prospecting to ascertain the existence of adequate deposits in the area that they have blocked out? Because if you go and block out a forest that is full of rocks that don't have minerals and say I should go there, and then I see another location where people are mining and obtaining a lot of gold, you think I'll go to where you have blocked out that has nothing, and then I will not go to where people have been mining and getting gold?
Mr. Chairman, the Minerals Commission doesn't take up that responsibility because I think of the risk that you're talking about.
So Minerals Commission just blocks out places and say you can go here irrespective of whether there's gold there or not?
They require you to submit a site of your area of interest. So how that place becomes your area of interest is left to you, the miner. And I think the miners have ways of doing their quick, checks to see whether it is mineable or not.
So the Minerals Commission blocks out areas and says small-scale miners, you can go here, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
But they haven't done any studies to determine whether there's gold where they are directing them to go.
Not at all, Mr. Chairman.
And then the miners then discover that there's gold somewhere. And when they go there, they tell them that those areas have been blocked for large-scale miners.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that happens.
What would be your own natural tendency? Will you go to the place that doesn't have gold, or you go to where there's evidence that there's gold?
Of course, I'll go to where there's evidence, Mr. Chairman.
So do you think this observation gives you a clue how to resolve the issue of so-called illegal mining and galamsey?
Mr. Chairman, to begin with, I think to curb this small-scale or illegal small-scale mining menace, we need to get the miners organized and then work with their leadership. I think to an extent that will solve the problem. And then we can lead them to assess areas that are of, potential in terms of mineralization.
The point I want to make is, do you think that any effort to solve the problem of small-scale miners and encourage them to go to a site must necessarily involve the state investing in some basic reconnaissance prospecting to establish the existence of deposits there before you direct them to that location?
Yes, I think, Mr. Chairman, that would be of help. Because if we get state-of-the-art equipment to determine where mineralization is, and you put the small-scale miners there, it will go a long way to help us solve.
We're still live here on Channel 1 Television, bringing you you call them hearings or the vetting of President Mahamad's nominees for various ministerial positions. You have witnessed a number of vettings. We've seen now the vetting of the nominee for the Western North region in the person of Wilbert Petty Bentum. And we will be breaking shortly after this to bring you our 8 p.m. news bulletin hosted by Umaru Sanda Amadou. We understand there's one final vetting to be done, but for those of you just tuned in, the minority side of the vetting has left after some disagreement about what the speaker's ruling on the floor meant. So after this vetting session, we'll take you straight into our news bulletin, which will bring you other highlights of what has been a very eventful day, culminating in the vetting of the foreign minister nominee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who was vetted for over 6 hours. Stay with us on Channel 1 Television.
The various localities that I find them,